I'm making this video to give guys advice as far as which countries to go to and which regions you want to go to if you're going for the purposes of getting it in. Because I get a lot of questions from my boys, and I get a lot of questions from people that watch my videos. And they ask me which countries are the best to go to if I want to get it in. Which countries are the easiest, where are women the easiest. And I can't really give you a specific, I could give you a specific answer as far as like which countries that I particularly go to, but honestly I prefer not to do that because they're my countries of choice. And real talk, I don't want my place of peace or my favorite destination, to all of a sudden become a hub for a whole bunch of other niggas, like what happened in Brazil and shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of motherfuckers, back in '05 and '06 were writing books and writing news reports about their trips to Brazil, and getting it in over in Brazil and how easy the women were. And from talking to guys that frequent Brazil, it's my understanding that Brazil has gotten whack, as far as, being a destination to hook up with chicks. And, the women really aren't that impressed by the fact that you're from the States just by the mere fact that they see Americans, and that, they see a lot of brothers because a lot of brothers are now going to Brazil. So the woman, they don't really feel that really any type of way by seeing Americans, So that's why I personally don't give any specific intel as far as to what country specifically I go to. Because honestly, I don't want motherfuckers fucking my shit up. If you want to travel overseas and you want to find specific countries, do your own fucking research. You know what I'm saying? But what I will do is give you a general idea of, how to travel and, kind of guide you in the right direction, so that you can find destinations where, women are going to be easier. When I'm making a decision to travel overseas, one thing that I avoid is going down the beaten paths. I tend to avoid going to countries that have a lot of Western tourists, that have a lot of American tourists, and, where a lot of brothers may have gone to, because you're not going to get that shock value. The woman, when you're going overseas and, you want to get it in with, foreign woman, the main component of being able to get it in is, having that shock value, being in a place where they don't see black guys, really, other than on TV, they don't really see brothers like that, and it's in those places where you're going to get the most love because women are automatically going to be taken by you because you're this you're this novelty, or you're this unique, you're almost like this unicorn, that they really don't see that much. So like, for example, like if you're going to Europe, you want to avoid places like Italy, Spain, France. Why? Because Americans have been going to those countries for years. Brothers have been going to those countries for years. Brothers, black brothers were in Italy in fucking Italy and France in World War II, running through Italian and French women in the fucking 1940s. You know what I'm saying? So, those women have seen brothers for decades. And not only that, there's a lot of Africans in those countries. There's a lot of black guys, that are African, because those countries are former colonial powers and they have huge African populations. So number one, in countries like Spain, Italy, France, Portugal, women aren't going to be as taken by the fact that you're black, number one, because they already have African populations and black populations in their countries. And, number two, they're not going to be taken aback by the fact that you're American, because Americans have been going to those Western European countries for decades, right? So, when you go in, for example, so when you're going to Europe, you want to look more towards Eastern Europe, Eastern Europe, the former Soviet countries, the former Soviet bloc, the Romania, the Croatia, the Bulgaria, the Moldova, Serbia, countries where they don't see black guys like that. You know, the only time they see black guys, the only time they'll see a black guy is when Lil Wayne is performing at the VMAs and they're watching it from fucking, MTV International. You know what I'm saying? That's the only time they see black guys. Those are the countries you want to go to. Those are the countries where you're going to get the most love. Those are the countries where the women are going to be the easiest to bag. And like, for example, when you go to Asia, where does everybody loves to go to, Thailand in Asia. Everyone loves Thailand. Brits go to Thailand. Americans go to Thailand. I mean, the Thai, I'm sure, aren't that impressed or that surprised to see Americans. Now maybe if you went to a country like Laos, or maybe if you went to a country like Cambodia, or maybe if you went to a country like, Taiwan, you get that shock value because, real talk, how many Americans are trying to go to Taiwan? You know what I'm saying? The only time that Taiwan pops in the heads of Americans is when they're checking the tag of their fucking sneaker and shit, So those are the type of countries you want to go to, and not only do those countries, like Taiwan and Cambodia and Laos, not only do they not see Americans like that, but they sure as hell don't see brothers. I know a brother that actually went to Laos recently, and he told me, motherfuckers are like touching his skin and shit, like it was some fucking like, exotic, something exotic and shit. They were just like feeling his skin randomly, not just the woman and shit, the men too, So he was like this fucking huge, centerpiece over there, and he got a lot of love. He told me when he was in Laotia, he was running through chicks and Laos. I'm sorry, it's Laos. He was running through chicks and shit, and he had a really good time. Because he just, people treated him like he was a fucking celebrity over there. So that's kind of how you want to travel. You want to avoid the beaten paths, and especially South America. Let's go to South America. Like I said. Everybody's trying to go to fucking Brazil. Everybody's trying to go to fucking Rio. Everybody's trying to go to the DR. Everybody's trying to go to Panama. Everybody's trying to go to Costa Rica. Avoid those fucking spots if you're trying to get pussy. Avoid them. Okay? Because in most of those countries, you're not going, like I said, you're not going to get that shock value. Like you would, for example, like let's say you're going to South America. You're not going to get the same shock value in Brazil as you get in Uruguay. How many motherfuckers are really trying to go to Uruguay like that? When you see 3 or 4 brothers, traveling and getting ready to travel, all hype, and you say, yo, where you guys going? How many times, you think you're gonna hear, oh, we're going to Uruguay, or we're going to Peru. Motherfuckers ain't trying to go to Peru. Motherfuckers are trying to go to the DR. So, you kind of want to avoid those spots. So that's pretty much just my spiel on how I travel, how I make my decision to travel. And why, and this goes back to what I was saying about paying for pussy, why I don't pay for pussy and why I don't have to pay for pussy when I travel overseas. Because I go to destinations that are less beaten by Western tourists, by American tourists, and by other brothers, where they're not used to seeing black guys like that. So off top, I'm getting love and I'm getting attention from women, just by being who I am. And women, they want to be with me because I'm a novelty. They don't, I don't have to pay for pussy when I go to fucking Romania, right? Because how many brothers are really trying to go to Romania? How many brothers do you think Romanian women actually see? And if you have Romanian women that are into hip hop, that are into that, rap lifestyle that may be attracted to black guys, they're not going to have that access, to brothers like that unless they travel, out of their country. So when you go to those countries and you're a black guy and they're already into that type of lifestyle, it's an easy beat. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't pay for pussy. I don't have to pay for pussy because I go to countries where women don't see brothers like that, and they sure as hell don't see black Americans like that. So I'm getting easy pussy off top. And that's pretty much the science of how I travel and how I make my decisions. And that's pretty much the science behind how you should travel if you want to get it in and you don't want to end up like a lot of these motherfuckers, these dweebs who, are going overseas and paying for short intervals with prostitutes. You know, because if these guys were going to countries where there was that shock value, where they would get that instantaneous love from bitches, they wouldn't have to pay for pussy. They wouldn't be paying for pussy because it was why pay for pussy when they can get the shit for free, right? You know, so that's pretty much all I got to say. You know, I would definitely take this into consideration. Because you can definitely save yourself a lot of time, and you can enjoy your trip, tenfold, because you'll be heading to places where you're gonna be treated like a superstar, so to speak.